Yo. Okay, I think I modded you guys enough. Alrighty. What is going on, folks? I'm Savage Beefy. And, yeah, I gotta say, today's session was actually a pretty good one. Nothing too crazy, of course, no PRs or anything. But I've managed to get in a squat and a bench session. So it's mostly just like quads and pecs, like a push full body ish kind of session. I'll just go ahead and play the video and break it down to you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And yeah, right off the bat, we're starting off with some squats. And I went pretty heavy today. This one felt pretty good. I started off with, I started off with 325 as I was warming up. And I got a pretty decent 3 reps in. I'm no ATG squatter when doing back squats, so of course I'm more accustomed to the 90-degree parallel thing, although I should probably work on going a little deeper. But then when I went up to 345, I only got 1 rep in, so I think most of my squatting straight has made its comeback, which is a pretty good sign. And yes, the person who I dapped up here, he actually is a super heavy squatter. I watched him like squat 4 plates 1. He's strong. And then I did some front squats. I only did like 2 sets of it. Like the first set I did with 245 and then no 235, excuse me, for 5, which is this one right here that you're looking at, and then the video before that was my second set, which is 245. I like to like show off my heaviest weight first, and then like show off my previous sets and lead up to the heavier sets. But yeah, I did some front squats just so I could work on squatting deeper and building my quads like alone. It also helps to build with to help work on my bracing even more, just feel even tighter. And yeah, this is the big part I want to share with you guys is doing Bulgarian split squats, but with a barbell. You know the thing is like I was like doom scrolling on Instagram, and I saw these like pile of videos of like dudes on Instagram doing like Bulgarians with the barbell at like 4 or 5 fucking plates. I think I just saw this one Instagram user do it, and I was like, man, I just got so curious about that dude. I even saw this one Jack dude in my gym last year do Bulgarian split squats with the barbell, and I'm like, I've got to try it out. And so that's what I did here. I did two. The heaviest I went up to was like 225 for one on each leg. Leading up to that, I started with just like the bar, of course. You gotta make sure my form is good. Then I did 135, then 155, and then 170. And then the first footage I got down was a video with me doing 190. Then I did 205 for 3. Really, like, what helped is like bracing your core super hard, like keeping yourself as tight as possible, as with any other barbell movement you did. Because, like, when you're bracing, like, everything feels so tight, you can just, like, get that full rep in. Because, like, otherwise, like, if your, like, whole core is very loose, you could, like up the chance of injury. And you don't want to be doing that, right? So, if your core is like very weak, especially with like bracing and stuff, make sure to train that area. Do your ab exercise, your obliques, your spinal erectors, your whole trunk. I did that a couple for a good few months or so, and that helped me have a really strong brace when doing Bulgarians, whether it's with a barbell or from Smith machine or with dumbbells. Like that shit makes a difference, and it'll also help with your other compound lifts too. So yeah, I did some bench pressing. I did like a top set. Wait, did I do? Oh no, that was 245. Okay, I started with 265, and I only was able to do one. And then another top set I did was like with just 245 for like 3, and then I did like 2 back off sets with like 2 plates for just like a good 5 to 8 reps. So that isn't too bad. My elbows feel kind of weird though, so like I had to be careful of that. But luckily, my bench pressing straight wasn't affected too much. I gotta work on keeping my ass on the bench though. And then afterwards, I did some weighted dips. For my top heavy set, I did 90 pounds. And then for my 2 back down sets, I did 70 pounds on my dead belt. My body weight's currently at like 200 ish kind of pounds. I'm a pretty heavy guy, so of course, as with just like with the weighted pull ups, weighted dips is not really, you know, my best suit, of course. But I do it anyways because it does help me with my bench pressing strength. So that's good. And yeah, I was able to get like a good 7 reps in. And then I did some unilateral leg extensions. I think I got like 8 to 10 reps on each side with 125. Um, so as I mentioned like previously, whenever I do have like a little bit of a nagging pain on my right knee, my left knee feels fine. But what helped me was like whenever I do my leg extensions, of course, I did like this like I don't know if I showed it if I recorded it on this footage here, but on the second and last set, no, third set I did like a quick like 5 second pause for my right leg, and it actually made my right knee hurt less and less. So I feel like that's helping, and I think like what should be a good habit for me is like forcing myself to do these paused reps when doing leg extensions, and that way my knee wouldn't have to hurt too much. And then I finished myself off with some like arm isolation, so like bicep curls. Then I did some overhead extensions, same weight. I think I did like 90 pounds here. This easy bar in this gym is like so heavy. So like I feel like this could be like either 30 or 35 pounds. So like, calculating the weight on my strong app was pretty tricky. But yeah, I did some tricep overhead extensions. I only did two. I'm only doing 2 sets for my tricep stuff because, I already am upping my bench pressing frequency to like 3 to 4 times a week, and I feel like with that, my triceps are gonna be like super sore. But yeah, like overall, like this session felt really good, and I'm actually pretty optimistic about it too because like my squatting strength went back up finally, and I went pretty crazy on Bulgarians with the barbell, dude. Like I would love to get to a point where I can rip out 225 for each leg on Bulgarians, and that way I wouldn't have to keep using a Smith machine or dumbbells. Not that one is like better than the other, of course. Like I think every variation of Bulgarians is pretty good too. But that was like my main highlight for today's session was like doing that and knowing that how strong I actually was. I was really scared to try it out at first because I thought I was gonna like lose balance and stuff. But of course, yeah, the balancing act was like a very important part, and it's always good to practice that. But really, like what's important is like when you're bracing, and of course, I had a history of like doing Bulgarians with like heavier weights in the past, whether it's on dumbbells or Smith machines. So that kind of carried over pretty well with the barbell version of the Bulgarian split squat. So yeah, hopefully if I can keep getting stronger, that could kind of like help like squat heavier, whether it's I'm doing the back squats or the front squats. Now tomorrow is going to be my deadlift and back session, and I'll probably get some more chest work into just to help with my bench press. Um, since my posterior chain is a little bit worked up from the back squats, I'm not too sure as to. I feel like I might have to like take it easy on the deadlift intensity just so I don't end up hurting myself. But I do want to get that work in on the conventional deadlifts because last week when I did it, it actually felt pretty good. So um, I want to make sure we can keep that up. That way we can, hopefully hit that 500 goal before I graduate. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys. And yeah, that's really about it. Thanks for watching.